Temple Retrospective Ceremony 4. It's 4, isn't it? Yeah. So pre-ceremony sharing circle. Old man John, 72, most notably racked with shame, sadness, and guilt for something unclear, a responsibility that related to the death of his father. I missed exactly what he said when he explained it because he was by the side of the room. His whole upper body carries this trapped stress, including his eyeballs. He's carried this most of his life. The basic technique that the facilitators use is similar to a neurolinguistic programming technique I've experienced on a basic NLP course, intro course. It involves getting the patient to focus on the area of discomfort in the body, name it, fear, anger, sadness, etc. Visualize its size and color. Try to remember the first time you became aware of this emotion, then focus on it and breathe into it calmly. Note how it changes at all, in color, size, or intensity. Try to reduce it by breathing into it. This is integration and acceptance of the emotion, with the realization that it was born in the past, which is now gone, so cannot be changed, only accepted for what it truly is. So no longer subconsciously buried within your memories as part of a past defense mechanism that helped you survive at the time, but is no longer necessary, so is no longer defended, kept intact, and so growing with you as you develop, to become the negative monster it has become, that dictates your daily life, making you suffer its negative influence with illogical physical mechanisms, for example, fight or flight, activated. Mary Martha is so much better after all her powerful sobbing. She explained that her mother and sister were bipersonal disorder, as I already told, hence her personal confusion about real motherly love over conditional love, affecting her ability to form normal relationships with anyone. Young Savannah from Houston, Texas was really interesting to me. Seems at age 5, she absorbed a psychic fear from her auntie that manifests as a pain both sides of her throat that her mother dismissed as childhood fantasy. Later in the week, after the last ceremony, it had become clear to her that her grandfather had molested this auntie as he was a convicted child sex offender. How bizarre is that? There's plenty of evidence to suggest that spirits are often drawn and affect children when adults are blind to it. So, ceremony 4. This was my first without vomiting. I wanted to, but couldn't force anything. But as my back was bad after the hour-long pre-ceremony basic yoga class, I was too preoccupied with its pain to worry about my stomach. My visions gave me a strong connection with Mama, but I didn't see her face as at Kapatari, only her huge fractal white crystalline scaled hand with large claws that I was able to hold a finger of or thumb when things got rough. I needed this assurance more than in any other ceremony so far with what I was to behold later, the arrival of a bluish, Kali-esque, healing but merciless, Gorgon-esque, octopus-tendrilled goddess. Mama, with her hand on my head for guidance and security, told me I was in danger here and to observe only, with utmost respect. I was not to look at anyone else in the Maloka, despite the visceral, gut-churning vomiting from Michelle, a US-Chinese acupuncturist, that sounded like her whole body was being turned inside out to remove the stomach problem she was being treated for by specific plant medicine that gave her diarrhea during the day. It sounded like her body was being taken to its physical limit, almost unable to catch her breath between vomits. This awesome deity, with her entourage of snake-like hosts, was truly awesome with her presence, her tentacles sweeping through us all in the Maloka. It took all my faith in Mama not to lose to fear of this thing, whoever she was. I thought that if I lost connection to Mama in the presence of this being, I would be lost to who knows what fate. This entity made the demons of Kapatari seem like children's toys in comparison. I thought I'd come a long way in understanding the hierarchies and powers that exist behind the doorways to infinite other worlds and that the shamans represent. They're Icaros, the songs of those healing entities, it seems to me. Manuela, the older medicine woman, had complimented me twice at morning medicine time on my concentration on the personal Icaros. I love being in these alternate worlds, despite the physical pain and discomfort associated with the experience. Pain appears to be a physical barrier to be overcome eventually by trying to attain the level of a spiritual separation from the body, astral travel. Mama urged me to try leaving my body while my broken back was being fixed. I tried, but couldn't do it as the eye was wearing off after the intense visuals during the awesome Blue Goddess event. Mama said to try spiritually to go for a walk in the forest, but I couldn't do it. only in my imagination. I got to the lagoon and imagined walking across it, then had the insight that Jesus' walking on water was a metaphor for him astral traveling. Lol. There are so many insights during an I journey, it's impossible to count. The main thing is to realize its individual uniqueness of experience. No one will experience exactly the same thing at all. I don't question my spirituality in these terms, what it means to me, what it means to me only, remember. After all I've seen, how can I? It's not just a hallucination, as Western skeptics may argue, as the shamans are absolutely key to the healing process, as they always have been in every culture through time. I don't even care to try and explain to anyone who is skeptical, as they are not on their own path yet, so there's no point. Anyone who thinks the effects are down to a drug, which is the most commonly discussed aspect in the media, my amazing Aya visuals, etc., on YouTube, is missing the point and stressing the wrong aspect. The healing of people after an Aya process is what's important. There is no argument about that, as the proof is in the person afterwards, whether it's a healing of cancer, joint issues, muscle ache, skin problems, whatever. Those who think it's purely a hallucinogenic experience should be prepared to undergo a session and prove your skepticism to yourself. Then we'll see how your arrogant ego fares, as it's destroyed in circumstances that will bring you to a point of fear you can't possibly comprehend, with possible access to realms of existence you can't possibly imagine, from so far past your worst nightmares to things of such bizarre alien beauty that you can never be the same person again, if you are granted that experience, of course, or any experience at all. Some people had no visuals 3 nights running and were left wondering if anything was happening at all, but eventually, as they dropped their defenses and surrendered to the process, they were rewarded with various experience. But it's different for everyone. It doesn't mean that Aya is not working in some other way to heal you either. I bought a pipe of offering from the medicine lady Manuela as thanks for all the work the beautiful Shipibo folk do. In Shamanic Voices by Joan Halifax, in some cultures the pipe serves as an offering and as a channel to heaven where the spirit energy can travel down to the body of the shaman initiate and give them their healing power. I'm just debating whether to read this bit, but yeah, it's not a problem. I wonder what Bianca will make of it all. I wish she had experienced the next level of Aya experience at the truly wondrous temple. Her perspective on monotheistic cultural demons and her fear of them may well have been cured, as well as her remaining problems, I'm sure. At least had the bulk of these issues removed or a big chunk of them healed and gone away with a better understanding of what ayahuasca is and how it works under optimum circumstances. Obviously, just to clarify that, Bianca had one of her key her carnal fears was um, just was demonic entities. I think if you've watched any of my other videos, it's been mentioned. That was one of the reasons she was there. I think was to try and make some sense of something that happened when she was a young girl, having experience of some kind of activity, poltergeist type scenario, and having a mortal fear of demons. So she because of the situation with Jack, she never got a chance to heal as well as she should have done. So that's basically the story behind that. So traditional biblical demons are utterly insignificant to what Mama hinted at that lie behind the shamanic doorway. For that blue goddess I called it, for example, totally different level of energy completely. Although a healer, but up here to demons down here, no comparison. She said that others, I'll have to read that again. Says, traditional biblical demons are utterly insignificant to what Mama Ayahuasca hinted that lie behind the shamanic doorway. She said that others exist that are similar in capability to the terrible blue goddess I witnessed. These manifestations cannot be imagined by normal human brain behavior. Skepticism and rationalism is irrelevant at this point. Chris, who's 63, and I shared our pipes before the sharing circle the day after the ceremony. I still had no idea what to share for group benefit in the sharing circles. The pipe serves as a useful tool for thought composition and reflection. It's been very useful since leaving the temple in the integration thought process, as I explain in a vid once I've uploaded. So that's an old vid somewhere. So that's ceremony 4.